This report provides a very brief preliminary analysis of the 2024 BECE results. 126,703 candidates from 1,833 schools entered for the 2024 BECE. 5,578 candidates were absent for all subjects or had entire results cancelled. 5,545 of these candidates were absent for all subjects. This leaves a total of 121,125 candidates that sat at least one subject or paper and had grades released. The results of 879 candidates were from late entry schools and are being withheld by WAEC. This leaves the results of 125,824 candidates, inclusive of those absent for all subjects, that were released to the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education on the 13th of November 2024. At BECE, candidates take up to 8 subjects, and the best score is 1, which is excellent, and the worst is 7, which is a fail. Units and grades 1 to 6 are various levels of passes. Thus, anyone scoring 6 or better will pass an individual BECE subject. The different grades are awarded based on percentage of marks obtained on individual exams, and individual student performance is assessed using aggregate scores derived from the grades for the total of 6 subjects, and these will include the 4 core subjects plus the best elective subject grade and the best optional subject grade. The average grade, which is the sum of the grades obtained for all subjects attempted, divided by the number of subjects attempted, is also used to assess performance. The latter is a better measure of the quality of performance of candidates. As an example of how the average grades are computed, if a student sat 8 subjects and obtained 4 1s, 2 2s, 1 3, and 1 4, his or her average grade is computed thus: 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 divided by 8, giving an aggregate of 1.88. It is important to underscore that the smaller the average grade unit, the better the student performed. Students are aiming to get an average unit or grade score as close to 1 as possible. Different senior schools have different entry requirements as a consequence of the fact that they have different numbers of places available in SS1 and the differences in the number of candidates sitting for the school, as well as the quality of their performance. Note that requirement for entry to a senior secondary school is a minimum of 5 passes, inclusive of language arts or mathematics. The aggregate score and average grades are measures of the quality of the performance of the candidate and is used to determine which candidate is offered a place when the demand for places at a school is greater than the number of places available. Overall, the 2024 BECE candidates obtained results that have only been bettered once in 2023 since Sierra Leone started the BECE. Highlights include the number of candidates sitting the 2024 BECE and having their results released, that is 121,125, are fewer than the 127,065 of 2023, as well as the 127,889 of 2022 and the 131,483 of 2021. These 121,158 candidates include those whose results are withheld by WAEC. Out of the 125,824 candidates whose results have been released to MBSSC, a total of 5,578 were absent or had their entire results cancelled, leaving 120,246 candidates to have sat at least one subject and had grades released. It is important to note that fewer candidates have been sitting BECE since 2020, largely due to the fewer candidates failing and having to repeat the exam. For the fourth year in a row, there are more females, amounting to 61,957, than males, at 58,289 students sitting BECE. From the results released to MBSSC this year, 6.3% more females than males sat the 2024 BECE. The pass rate for individual papers stands at 90.5%, is the second highest ever recorded. The number of candidates obtaining a minimum of 5 passes, inclusive of language, arts, or mathematics, has increased by 21%. I repeat, the number of candidates obtaining a minimum of 5 passes, inclusive of language, arts, or mathematics, has increased by 21%. In 2024, 112,103 out of 120,246 candidates that sat and had results released to MBSSC obtained a minimum of 5 passes, inclusive of language, arts, or mathematics. This gives a BECE pass rate for the general SSS program of 93%. Our goal has always been to get all children successfully completing basic education in line with the 1991 Constitution and moving on to senior secondary school. We are happy to note that the goal is not too far away. 2 candidates were tied for top position. Sise Mariam M. from the International School Limited Secondary and John Sita from Alfred International Junior Secondary School. They both sat and passed all 8 of their subjects with aggregate scores of 7, average grades of 1.13. That is, the candidates obtained 1s in 7 subjects and a 2 in 1 subject. They were closely followed by 3 other candidates with aggregate scores of 7 and average grades of 1.25 due to 1s in 6 subjects and 2 in 3 subjects. The 2 top candidates were a girl and a boy, and 3 of the top 5 candidates were girls. The top school, Providence International Freetown, saw 100% of its candidates obtain a minimum of 5 passes, inclusive of language, arts, or mathematics, with an average grade of 1.68. It was closely followed by Christ Reformed Church JSS, Kabbalah, which also had 100% of its candidates passing for SSS and had an average grade of 1.69. Daily Pebble International of Allentown was the 3rd best performing school. A total of 835 schools saw all of their candidates passing for senior secondary school, and a further 461 schools had 95% or more of their candidates also passing for senior secondary school. These numbers have only been bettered in 2023 and are much better than 2022, when a total of 322 schools saw all of their candidates passing for senior secondary school, and a further 395 schools had 90% or more of their candidates also passing for senior secondary school. There remains some variations in performance across subjects, but just one subject had a pass rate below 70%. 7 subjects had pass rates in excess of 95%, with physical and health education having the highest pass rate at 98.82%. Language arts had a pass rate of 85.93%, and mathematics a pass rate of 87.98%. There remains a large variation in performance across districts, including in terms of average grade and unit and a pass rate for senior secondary school. Notwithstanding, all districts had SSS pass rates in excess of 88%. The best district had a SSS pass rate of 97.85% and an average grade of 3.31. Candidates from Guinea did not perform as well as candidates from Sierra Leone, but still had a combined SSS pass rate of 78.8% and an average grade of 5.2%. In general, the performance in BECE in 2024 has been extremely encouraging. Pass rates continue to be high, girls continue to be right at the top in performance, and schools continue to excel. This is creating pressure for more senior secondary schools, more teachers, etc. The government is in cognizance of the issue and taking actions to address it. For example, in addition to the 4,500 teachers recruited this year, government will recruit another 2,000 next year, as outlined in the last budget. The one concern is the large numbers of absences. My ministry had noted that even higher numbers of absences for WAS, and I have taken action to find out the cause of the large absenteeism for well-conducted exams. Let me end by congratulating all candidates who passed BECE, all school leaders, teachers, and schools that prepare their candidates well, and all districts that continue to perform at a high level. Underperforming schools will be receiving attention from both the TSC and MBSSC. Underperforming districts, please note that I will be visiting with some of my senior staff so that together we can map out strategies and action to address the shortcomings identified. Given the delay in the release of the results, I want to plead with everyone concerned that we take all necessary actions to speed up interviews for admissions so that the SSS 1 is able to fully commence as soon as possible. In this regard, my ministry is exploring ways by which actions by schools to make up for the time lost can be supported.